Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. I hope you enjoyed this intro, and I went through the effort thanks to the shoutout from one man, and that is Dollarplays. Thank you for your shoutout in your latest video, very much appreciated, and that intro was for you. And it was very motivating, so I played the SMS Bayern a bit more again, because I promised in one of my last videos to have a little bit of a revisit on it, because the first time I tried to play this World War I German wannabe wonder weapon, that's a bit of a mouthful, again, but then it was bugged, and it was horribly bugged. I was destroyed by destroyers with their diving sap rounds and armor platings just not being existent, despite being featured in the X-ray or the armor view. Nonetheless, the SMS Bayern is the first battleship that features 380mm or 15-inch guns, and it was also the first ship to do so in the Imperial German Navy back in World War I. It was commissioned just too late for the Battle of Jutland, where it probably would have performed very well thanks to its big guns, and it would have been the counterpart to the Queen Elizabeth class and the R class of the British, which are in very raw stats similar. However, today I want to point out the penetration values because they are a little bit interesting. And this chart is also again down to my effort of making the video a bit more enjoyable, a bit more intriguing. And again, thanks to Dollarplays. So here, that was the only salvo in the video, I think, where I hit an enemy Susuya with my massive sap rounds. But now let's talk about the armor penetration values of the armor piercing rounds. And what you're looking for is the Bayern's blue line, and it's somewhere in the middle between, funnily enough, 12-inch guns. On the bottom part, the violet line is from the typical German 12-inch guns featured here on the SMS Kaiser, and the red line is the fantasy Kronstadt's 12-inch guns. However, what you see here is that the Kronstadt cannot really hold this very impressive penetration, and at 15 kilometers, the Bayern's 15-inch shells are penetration-wise on par, and we have then a really big advantage at distance over the typical German 12-inch gun. And the only guns in this comparison that are better at distance and overall are the 15-inch guns featured on in this case on the IJN Ise with their improved, more modern 14-inch shells. However, when those shells penetrate, it's party time, because you have a massive 25 kilogram filler of TNT. That's just massive, and cruisers really do feel the pain. And as I said before, the stock round is the 380mm SAP round, which also features a whopping 67 kilograms of TNT. Not quite the 69 kilograms of the 14-inch Japanese guns, but you get the idea. What we have here is also 458 millimeters of penetration on an SAP round. At 5,000 meters, that's still 325 millimeters. However, despite having 26 millimeters of fuse sensitivity and 0.025 seconds of fuse delay, which is the same as on the armor piercing round, it doesn't feel that usable compared to the AP round in most scenarios. But, you know, the stats are there. And then you have on the Bayern also the armor. It is actually impressive at first, because the belt is some of the thickest in the game with 350 millimeters. That is more from the compared to the Scharnhorst with 320, and yet it is significantly more vulnerable because the Scharnhorst, mostly being absolutely invulnerable to shell fire, the Bayern is. And that is due to the turtleback being significantly thinner with, 30 millimeters? Versus the Scharnhorst's monstrous 105 millimeters turtleback. So that is the main difference. What you also have is the speed versus the Scharnhorst's 59 kilometers per hour. You can only muster 41 kilometers per hour, but better than nothing. Also impressive is your secondary array of 8 150mm guns per side, and you also feature 20 600mm H8 torpedoes, and they are probably the most usable torpedoes on any battleship aside the Scharnhorst that comes from fixed tubes, because you have 269 kilograms of TNT equivalent bursting charge, and with a speed of 67 kilometers per hour and 6 kilometers range, without the torpedo mode, by the way, those are quite usable, and you launch them from overall 5 tubes, 1 through the bow and 2 per side. So there is that. However, I never really get into the range of the torpedoes, and to be honest, if that scenario occurs, you did something wrong. Or the enemy, or it's an island fight, whatever. Honestly, those guns also have, despite their huge, massive size, 15-inch guns is currently some of the largest caliber in the game. I think only the Hood's 381mm guns are bigger by 1mm. You have an impressive reload of 26 seconds for a fully trained ace crew. But yeah, you only have 8 guns. And yet, I prefer that compared to the US standards currently in the game, which are overall good ships, but are absolutely massively crippled by their 40-second reload for 10 or 12 guns respectively. I think that the Bayern is a little bit of a weird ship. I personally prefer in the meta the Scharnhorst, because you mostly face cruisers, and the Scharnhorst is significantly harder to take down for enemy battleships, especially if you do not angle, which was this Scharnhorst's demise. The Bayern is a weird ship. It's completely different to the Scharnhorst in so many ways. Obviously Scharnhorst being a much more modern ship, but also more fit for the meta and having AA. And the Bayern has a practically unusable turtleback. It has no AA. It is slow when it's getting damaged in the funnels. It's getting even slower. It can be ammo wrecked. All those things together make it a less pleasant experience than the Scharnhorst. But it has been a significantly better experience than when I first had my first go with it. I think when you kill something, when you kill an enemy battleship at range, it's immensely rewarding, especially if you make those flesh wound hits, not the Amorak hits, but you hit the machinery, then the massive 25 kilogram TNT charge does really show its destructive potential, and I like this. And I don't not just only want to cherry pick here my kills, but also want to show here my deaths, both at distance and short range. Rule number 1 in Naval Forces top tier: never angle a Scharnhorst, because despite you being able to get in some hits, it kills. And I have a very special cherry pick here for you. After here, I get ruthlessly sunk by a 105 from the Scharnhorst. Interesting kill messages here. Here I am in the Paris, and that has, with 12-inch guns, not really big guns. And the Bayern being able to soak up 15-inch guns according to design still gets nuked by 12-inch guns, just to show where we are. And that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Please give this video a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we will see each other as usual on the battlefields, in the skies, and on the waves of War Thunder.